Hi guys, how you doing? Now, I was supposed to make this video a couple months ago when I first played Warhammer Space Marines 2. I played it back in September. I'm currently recording this in November if you're watching this in the future. But I played the game and I liked it at first. I didn't play through it all at once. I played through about half of it, the first half. I think there's 12 missions in the game, so there's two different campaigns you can play through the official campaign. So I played the first half with my friend, and we played right when it came out, basically, or like a week after, and then we played the rest of it a month later because we both got really busy and had things going on, so we couldn't finish it all at once. So I took a break from it, came back to it, played the rest of it, and at the time when I played through the first half of the campaign when it first came out, I was all gung-ho about it, like, this is the best game of the year, and this game is fucking amazing, and it's great, it's the best game ever, and graphics are amazing, and I love it so much. And I was going to make a whole video. I recorded all this gameplay footage, and we streamed it, me and my friend, we streamed it together, and I was going to just post this video being like, wow, Warhammer Space Marines 2 is the best game of 2024, it's one of the best games, it's so good. I was just very green about it. Then it took a month break, we came back to it, and when we were playing through the rest of the game, the whole sheen, the whole really like kind of shiny feeling about the game being really good kind of fell. The mask crumbled, if you will. And I just thought it was really mid. I was like, man, what happened? I liked this game at first. I think it was recency bias, and I think it's because I spent $70 on it. You know, like when you spend a lot of money on something, right? Like you buy something, like you DoorDash food, for example, because you're hungry, and after you eat it, you just sit there and you're like, wow, I just wasted $40 on fucking McDonald's when I could have just drove three blocks down and got it myself. No, I decided to DoorDash it and pay a $10 delivery fee and tip 20%, and I just wasted so much money, and I'm fucking stupid. And you don't even feel satisfied. Like you ate the food and you feel like oh, this sucks. I'm a piece of shit. That's kind of how it is with me when I buy certain, especially games, because games they're expensive now. They were expensive before, but they're more. I mean, $70 for a game is insane. The game has to be like the best game ever for me to fucking spend that much money on it. But my friend bought it, and my best friend bought it, and he wanted to play it with me, so that's why I bought it. And I was okay, cool. I'll buy it real quick. I'll get this. I'm not really a huge fan of Space Marines, or I guess the Warhammer franchise. I don't know the Warhammer franchise. Okay, I'm not a Warhammer fan. The only thing Warhammer-wise I've played before was I played the Doom clone, the boomer shooter game. I have no idea what it is. I think it's called Bolt Gun, if I can remember correctly. And I played that one, and I thought it was really good. But I played it with headphones in, and I didn't listen to the plot or watch it, so I didn't know what was going on. I just wanted to shoot shit. That's how I played Doom. Doom doesn't really have a story to it. I just kind of put headphones in or listen to music, and I just shoot shit for a couple hours and turn my brain off and go on autopilot. That's what I did with the Warhammer Doom clone game. So that was my only experience with the Warhammer franchise up to that point, aside from seeing it in a couple of D&D shops or whatever. But I never got into the lore about it, and it's just a lot, man. The Warhammer franchise is a lot. But anyways, so I bought the game because my friend bought it, and I played through it. And again, I liked it at first, but I don't know if I really actually liked it when I first played, like through the first half of the campaign, or if I just was pretending because I spent so much money on the game, and I was like, well, you know, why would I not? Like, I have to like it, right? I spent so much money on it, I have to like it. So I convinced myself that I really liked it. And fortunately, my laziness was the best thing for me. Usually I'm too lazy and I don't make the video I want to make, and I just procrastinate on it and sit on it forever. It worked out in the end, because if I made this video about how good the game is 2 months ago, it would have been a lie. It would have been a faint lie, and I would have made a second video, which would be this one right now, talking about how bad it is. So I'm happy that I sat in the video, procrastinated, and now I can actually give my true opinion on the game and why I just didn't really like it. I know, lots of preamble. I'm sorry about that. I just need to explain myself first before I got into it, okay? Now, I wrote a couple notes about my points of why I think the game is mid, and I don't want to... I know some people, when I make these kind of videos, reviewing certain things or talking about certain things I think are bad, or my opinion, sometimes people get mad about me not going in depth about it, like, wow, why didn't you spend 30 minutes talking about why you don't like this game, or why I just don't have that much in my brain or in the chamber to do that, and I don't think it's very interesting either. Like, why would you want me to spend 25 minutes talking about how the fucking gameplay is boring and repetitive or whatever, right? So this isn't going to be a long, in-depth video. I'm just going to talk a little bit about these points of why I think it's mid, why I don't think it really deserves all the accolades it has, and yeah, we'll just get right through it and move on like we always do. All right. I mentioned it a couple seconds ago, but my main issue with this game is the gameplay loop is incredibly boring. It's the same thing every time. And I know that's kind of like a bizarre criticism to toss at any game, because you can break down any other game and to its bare bones and be like, well, this game is just this all the time. Call of Duty is just shooting and tossing grenades, or Halo same way, just kind of that stuff. You can break any game down like that, but there's more to those games than there are to Space Marines 2. Space Marines 2 is super duper repetitive. You do the same moves every time, the same exact slicing move. There's nothing exactly unique about it. Once you get past the first 2 levels, it starts to become like, okay, here we go. And it's similar in a way where you have to keep on fighting the same enemies, and it's just fighting. You get stopped at a door, got to fight waves of enemies, move on, got to fight waves of enemies, move on, got to fight waves of enemies. And it was just very boring. There wasn't a lot of dynamics to it, all right? So not only was the gameplay loop boring itself, the things you do being the same exact thing the entire time, the same finishing moves, whatever, it's the fact that it wasn't done interestingly with the game itself, because in the game, in the levels, you just do the same thing. It's killing waves of enemies, moving on, killing waves of enemies, moving on, occasional boss fight, and it's the same enemies every time, basically. Tyranids, that's all you're fighting, are Tyranids, the same Tyranid enemies. It's just super duper repetitive, and the story itself is not that engaging to keep you connected to it. Like, wow, at least the story's really good, so I can keep on moving on. No, it's just kind of blah. And it's also one thing if the gameplay was unique, right? And it's a brand new kind of thing, and yeah, it's always the same gameplay, but at least it's unique and new and innovative. But it's not. When I was playing through the game, it really reminded me of Gears of War. That's kind of what I kept comparing it to when I was playing through it. Was this is just like Gears of War. All right, it totally felt like Gears of War. I can't really compare it to anything else but that. Like the way you sprint, the finishing moves, the way the weapons are, how big the characters are. It was totally Gears of War. And maybe that's why I didn't like it, because I'm a D1 Gears of War hater. I do not like Gears of War. Maybe that's a video for another day, but I don't like Gears of War, okay? And it reminded me of Gears of War. It reminded me of the Horde mode in Gears of War, actually. But yeah, these levels aren't very interesting either. The levels are very short, technically. Like, the levels would be maybe 15 minutes if they're just regular levels, but no, they keep on stuffing so many enemies in these levels that it makes the gameplay, each level was like an hour and a half long for us to get through, and by the end it's just a slog. It's like, can we please move past this? And you just keep on adding more waves of enemies, waves of Tyranids. Oh, here's another wave. Just when you think you're done, you gotta fight another fucking wave of Tyranids, getting your ass kicked, and it's just like, why can't we just move on? Why are you doing this? Because I'm trying to extend the gameplay. It basically just felt like pure filler, and it was not even fun. It was just boring. When you're first playing the game, when you first get into the first, the level, and you start using the finishing moves, and the graphics are cool, and there's all this gore and blood and all this fighting going on, and it's this big whole, it's just overwhelmingly cool. You're like, oh, this is awesome. I'm having such a blast right now. But as you keep on playing the game and going through it, and it's just hours upon hours of the same thing, killing the same exact enemies, the same 4,000 waves of enemies, waiting for a fucking door to open, doing the same finishing move, shooting the same guns that run out of ammo all the fucking time. That's another thing. There was like no ammo anywhere, so you're always getting your ass kicked looking for fucking ammo. But yeah, when you're doing the same thing for that many hours, it just becomes boring. So the whole entire mask of like, oh, this game is really fun and really cool looking, and it just all crumbles all at once. I remember watching the clock while playing through it near the end of the game. We only played, both campaigns, but near the end of the first campaign, even though at that time I was still kind of like, oh, this is pretty good game, before I went back to it later to wrap up the rest of the campaign. But when we did our first playthrough of it, even near the end of it, I was kind of getting annoyed by how repetitive the gameplay was, and I was even watching the clock. When you're at your job, and it's getting close to being done, right? It's like 3 p.m. and you're like, wow, I can't wait till fucking 5 o'clock. You're just looking at your phone constantly and being like, oh, it's almost done, it's almost here. That's what it felt like. I was constantly looking at my fucking clock. I was listening to music. I was like, damn, is this still going on? I just want this fucking game to end, man. It's not good if you want the game to end, right? When you're playing a video game, especially a good one, you want the game to keep you engaged. You want the game, I don't want this game to ever end, right? and I keep on going back to it, but Cyberpunk, for example, is a game that I never wanted to end. I played through Cyberpunk like 4 or 5 different times because I never wanted it to end, because I love that game so much, and it's very engaging. It's a great game. Some stuff like Mass Effect and stuff like that, they're good games that you want to play forever. You get sad when they're gone because you feel empty inside. You're like, wow, I can't believe this game's done. I wish I could still play it. With Space Marines 2, I wanted it to end faster. I was waiting for it to end, and that's not a good thing. So those are my biggest issues with the game: are either the repetitive gameplay to it, the lack of innovation, the enemy variety not being there at all. You're just fighting Tyranids the entire time. There's not really any new enemies. You just fight the same enemies. I mean, during the first half of the campaign, there continuously has enemies like popping up, like new Tyranids. Like, oh, this big guy popping up that pops out the ground and fucks you up. It's a big snake guy, whatever. But then it repeats after that. There stop being new enemies, and you're just fighting the same shit over and over and over again. That's pretty fucking annoying. Yeah, and the pacing issues, of course, too, which is also with the repetitive gameplay, the repetitive loop of fight, walk, cutscene, repeat over and over and over again just felt like it was dragging. So those are the biggest issues with that game, and why I feel like Space Marines 2 doesn't really deserve all the praise it gets. I'm gonna continue here. I got some final thoughts later on, but let's go. I have a couple other little small points I want to talk about real quick too that are worth kind of just getting into as well, why I don't like the game very much. I'm going to get mercilessly roasted in the comments for this, but I think the game is way too hard, honestly. This Space Marines 2 is fucking insanely hard, okay? When you play a game like Dark Souls, you go into it knowing it's going to be hard, right? You can't get pissed at it for kicking your ass because everyone knows it's going to be a hard game. It's not a fucking secret that Dark Souls is hard. Space Marines 2, I didn't know how hard it was going to be going into it because I jumped in blindly. I jumped into the fray with my friend and played it, and we were getting our asses kicked time and time again. And we were playing on easy, mind you, right? Dark Souls is hard because Dark Souls is hard. That's how it is. It doesn't have an easy difficulty. There's no accessibility settings. You play it, and that's just how it is. It's just like that, right? With this game, there's an illusion of choice that you could technically lower the difficulty down to easy and be fine. No, that's not the case at all. Even on easy, this game is mind-numbingly hard. This is harder than Legendary and Halo, and I played Legendary Halo many because I've experienced in it, but I've never had a harder time playing a game on easy mode than this. It was on easy. And the biggest issue with that is that they toss in so many enemies at once in these waves. There's like 4,000 fucking enemies, and then there's a lack of ammo, first of all, and a lack of health packs. So you're just getting your asses kicked. You run out of ammo mid-fight, and you still have a million enemies in front of you, so you can't kill them. You can't heal yourself either, so you're basically just running around. There's plenty of times where me and my friend were just rolling around from the enemies, just rolling away because we had no health, we had no fucking ammo, and we couldn't fight these fuckers. And we were on easy. We're like, why is this so fucking hard? Especially the bigger enemies, the big kind of enemies. I don't know, the regular ones, not the big boss fights, whatever. But there's these big Tyranids that walk on 2 legs. Whatever. Those ones are super hard. They're just bullet sponges. Even when you have hella ammo, you could waste an entire fucking clip on one enemy, and you still have like 4 more in front of you. So you ran out of ammo wasting on this one fucking enemy, and you still have a million in front of you. It's like, well, okay, well, I guess I'm just cooked. Eventually, we ended up just getting through it anyways. We did complete the game, but it took a lot of just willpower to do it, and it just felt like an unnecessary difficulty, if that makes any sense. It felt like they intentionally made it harder because, just like I mentioned earlier, when they toss all these enemies on the screen, it's to keep the game going, if you will. There's not actually any content in this game to stretch it out to fucking 25 hours or whatever, how long it is. So they put in these big, strong-ass enemies that are bullet sponges, so you're forced to stick around for 10 minutes in one enemy encounter. So the game goes on longer. It just felt a very unearned difficulty. It didn't feel like, even after I killed these enemies, it didn't feel satisfying. Like, wow, we did this. Like when you finish a game, when you finish a Dark Souls game, or you kill a Dark Souls boss, or when you finish a game on Legendary and Halo, or whatever, where after you finish it, you're like, wow, I did this. I feel really great. The dopamine hits. You're like, wow, I can't believe I killed this fucking boss. I spent forever on it, all these strategies, and I killed it. No, it didn't feel like that. When we beat a wave of enemies after getting our asses kicked for like 20 minutes, we didn't feel like that. We felt like, why did they do this? Why is it so fucking hard? Why is it so hard? I wouldn't mind it being hard if they didn't give us the illusion of it being easy. Why even give us an easy mode if it's going to be hard no matter what? You know what I mean? That's my issue with it. It's not my issue with the game isn't that it's unnecessarily hard, which is, I mean, I do have an issue with it technically, but my issue with the difficulty in the game is that it's a bait and switch. You play on easy, you expect it to be fucking easy, right? You don't expect to jump in and get your fucking ass kicked time and time again and spend 3 hours on one level because you're fighting a million enemies and you keep dying over and over again. That's not what I expect going on easy. So that's why I'm pissed off and why I didn't like it. And the difficulty wise is because it makes you think that you're going to jump in and be fine, but no, you just get your ass kicked no matter what. So don't even play on easy. Even if you're going to play this game, don't even fucking play on easy. There's no point. Because it's not even easy. You might as well play hard difficulties and get the achievements for it, right? Then playing fucking easy, you get nothing out of it, and you still get your ass kicked. It's worthless. It's pointless and worthless. And this is a nitpick real quick, but I really fucking hate the customization in this game. It is terrible. I am a monkey, all right? I have a monkey brain. I see cool space armor, and I'm like, yes, all right? That's one of the positives about this game is that the armor is cool. The Space Marines look cool. They do look cool. The armor options you can get are really cool looking. The colors look nice on the armor too. However, they're very hard to get. You have to buy them using points, whatever in the game, these points or these gold, and you don't get very many of them though, right? Some of these big armor pieces cost a fucking million points, and you can't even fucking get them. Like you only get like 30 per mission. Me and my friend played a couple missions and literally get like 30 points. And it's like I need 160 to buy the whole set, and you expect me to play an hour and a half of these fucking missions? Like what's wrong with you? It's an unnecessary grind is what I'm trying to say. Same with there's certain armor pieces that you can't even, that are locked and you can't buy them right away. You have to do certain challenges for them. Kill X amount of enemies, do X amount of this thing, and it's just they're super complicated for no reason, and it doesn't make any sense because once you unlock the armor, what is there to it, right? You just unlock the armor and you get to wear it, and cool, now you just got this armor and there's nothing to do with it because the game there's nothing to do in the game, really. There's the campaign you can continuously replay, but that's all it is. There's a PvP mode, and it's terrible. No one plays PvP mode. It literally not a single person plays it. You'll have better luck finding a fucking match of Halo 3 Classic than you would trying to play PvP in Warhammer Space Marines 2. No one plays that shit. They play nothing. It is not played like that. So you're just not gonna show this armor off to anybody aside from yourself or your friend you're playing with, and just use it in the fucking second campaign. You can't even use it in the first campaign because the first campaign is a story focus where you're specific story characters you play as, right? The second campaign is where you get to play as your own character, and that's where you get to show off your armor. So you can't even play the full game. You only play like 6 hours as your character. So I don't know. It's not worth it in the end. All the grind and all the time it takes to get this really cool armor is not really worth it at all because you can just look at it on Google, because all you're going to do anyways, you're just going to fucking put it on and just look at it and get off the game. So it really, if you want to look at this armor, just go on Google or something and look it up, because you can find it and it'll be way easier. You don't have to pay fucking money for it. And honestly, I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, but here I go. A couple weeks, or when we started playing the game the second time after we stopped during the first campaign, we started playing the second campaign a month later when I kind of hated the game a little more. I saw there was a sale. I play on Xbox. There's a sale on Xbox for the season pass, which has, or just not in season pass, but the DLC. It has DLC armor, because DLC armor in this game, and it was $5. Right? Usually it was like $10. It was $5, and I was like, oh, $5. I got excess income. I'll fucking. This is before I was unemployed. But I spent $5 on this game I fucking hated to get this extra DLC armor, because I thought that it would unlock immediately and you just have the armor on you and you can use it whenever. No, you spend $5 on this fucking DLC armor, right, to unlock all the armor packs, and then you have to earn it still. So you spend $5 and then you still have to fucking earn points to buy the armor. So basically you're spending money to unlock the chance to buy the fucking armor. Does it make any sense to you? That's like if you were on Call of Duty, if you bought a fucking bundle in the store and they made you do challenges to unlock the armor. Like you spent $22 on a fucking bundle, and in order to unlock your weapon skin, you had to like go over and get like 15 headshots on Nuketown or some bullshit like that, or get 27 slide kills. Right? That's exactly how it is, and that's fucking bullshit. They took my $5, man. They took it. Dickheads, fuck you, motherfuckers. I got no money. You're taking my money right there. That's precious ramen noodle money right there, okay? Really, the biggest issue with this game is the price tag, honestly. $70 is ridiculous for a game like this. There is not enough substantial content in this game to make it worth $70 full price, okay? This should have been launched at $30 at the most, and probably launched, honestly, this is like a Game Pass game. That's what I describe it as. There's certain games out there that I think of as Game Pass games that aren't really worth buying, but you could download them interestingly on Game Pass. Stuff like Back for Blood, for example, so that's a Game Pass game. This is just not something that I would even believe is worth spending any money on in the first place. But yeah, definitely if you're gonna price it at any price, I think $30 is maybe pushing 40. There's just not enough content in it. Both campaigns combined are about 12 hours, and there's not anything substantial in them to replay. I mean, they're literally every level is the same exact looking level. The outside sections are all the same. The indoor sections, it's all copy and pasted bullshit. The same corridors, the same enemies, the same gameplay. It's literally it's like playing the same mission on repeat. It's almost like the library level from Halo 1. It's like playing that over and over and over and over again. That's literally what it is. Space Marines 2 is a library, but for 12 hours straight. And aside from that, there's nothing else. I mean, there's a PvP mode, which I mentioned before, and that's just stupid, and no one plays it anyways. You can't even find a match, and when you do find matches, it's really cancerous, so what's the point of playing that? Customization's really just worthless, too. It's just really not worth the fucking money. That's my biggest issue. They really gypped everyone out of their $70. Why would you sell this for $70 fucking dollars? And I mean, they sold really well. I mean, the game was popular briefly. I remember streamers, even when I was first playing it when it first came out 2 months ago. There was tons of streamers. I think Critical played it, and tons of other streamers played it. It was very popular for about maybe a week or two, and it just fell off hard. And I can see why, because the game definitely there's a big golden kind of aura around it briefly, which I had too when I played it. Oh, this is the best game ever. This game's awesome because all the shiny cutscenes and all the cool finishing moves and stuff like that makes you feel like, wow, this is really going to be a great game. But as you continuously play through the game and time passes, it just dawns on you that, wow, we really got ripped off. They robbed us in fucking daylight. It was crazy. I think if I had played this on the Game Pass, or if I only spent like $30 on this game, I would be less negative about it. That's my biggest issue. I think the fact that I spent full price on this fucking game that has nothing in it that I really don't like, it's kind of just like, it makes me hate it more, if that makes any sense. If I spent less money on it, if I played it for free on the Game Pass, I'd probably be like, oh, this is actually not a bad game. It's okay or whatever. I mean, honestly, I don't think it's really a bad game. It's just a very aggressively mid game. It's a mediocre, forgettable game. It's not a drop-dead, terrible game like E.T. or something like that where it'll be remembered 20, 30 years from now where, wow, remember how shitty that game was? No, it's not going to be remembered at all. No one remembers it now. Okay, not a single person. I'm the only person still talking about Space Marines 2 right now, and that's unfortunate because I really had high expectations with this game because I saw the promo and it looked really cool. My friend was all hyping it up, and it's just fucking terrible. It was boring and blah. Anyways, that's my opinion on this game. Please, in the comments, if you disagree with me, if you like this game a lot, if you have opinions on my opinions and you think I'm incorrect about them, or you want to debate me back and forth, please do. I'd love to hear your feedback. As always, I want to see your justification for what you like, why you like this game, why you don't disagree with me, all this kind of stuff. My comment sections are always a open book of criticism. Even if you don't like me, even if you want to complain about how much I ramble or say like or whatever, I don't give a shit. You know, that's the whole point of the comment section. It's open for any discussion. Anyways, I'm gonna quit talking now, and I'm gonna end the video. Thank you for listening to me once again, bitch and complain, and hope you have a good rest of your evening. Take care, and happy Thanksgiving. Okay, bye.